Hello, everyone. I am SS, the showstopper, and today is the 23rd of August, 2023. Now, a popular American podcast by the name of Fresh and Fit has recently been demonetized and basically canceled from YouTube platform. I was wondering how and when YouTube took that long to basically annihilate that channel, that account, that whole entire podcast. And I say that to say this. Fresh and Fit is hosted by two African American men. One by the name of who goes by the name Myron Hall. That's not his government name. One goes by the name of Myron Hall, and the other one, I'm certainly not interested to know his name because it's not worth researching. It's not worth me going above and beyond to find out what their names are. And because of such, YouTube has made it a final decision that their account, their channel is simply not worth having, hosting, established on their platform. The reason for that is that they are basically anti women and they are incels. Anti women are men who deeply hate women. They do not like women. They have a strong dislike for the opposite gender to them. It doesn't mean that they are homosexual necessarily or they're a member of the LGBT community, but for whatever reason, to them, they just do not like women. They believe that women are subjects and women should remain as such. I think they're also incels. They claim not to be, but based on their behavior pattern and the things that they do and say on their podcast, they move like one of which we would describe as an incel. For those who don't know what an incel is, it's the short term for involuntarily celibate. An involuntarily celibate or an incel is a man who strongly believes that because of his physical appearance, of not seeing himself as attractive or not being considered attractive or successful or intelligent or have the wits, maybe he suffers from, according to him, he suffers from social disability, which possibly is a self diagnosis and stuff like that. So he believes he doesn't have access or the opportunity to have sex with women as much as he would like to, or as much as other guys he considers attractive and rich or successful, intelligent, have game in quote, on them to pursue or to get the women they want. So they call themselves incels. Women choose not to have sex with them. So they are celibate involuntarily. Now, if you study the mind of an incel, those are men who, they are a group of men who has a strong dislike also for very attractive women. They have a strong dislike for very attractive women, but they tend to be very disrespectful, extremely disrespectful and insulting to the average woman. So what happened is that how their mind function is that they desire a girl, a particular woman of features, certain features about them that they consider very attractive, very alluring, and very appealing. And because those type of women would necessarily go for them off the jump, they decide to be extremely rude, disrespectful, and insulting to the average woman they consider unattractive. Because what happens with an incel is not that he can't get any woman. It's not that women don't find him attractive. The problem is the woman who finds him attractive. They are usually not attracted to those women. They are attracted to a specific type of woman. For example, a woman who is short and stubby. They won't necessarily go for her unless she's extremely curvy to some or very slim to some. You understand? A woman that is very tall, for example, 5 feet 10, 5 feet 11, and is very large in build or has a very large nose or very large eyes. They probably, certain features that stand out, are what we consider disproportionate. they would not find those type of women very attractive. They would not be interested, and so they will insult these women. They would post insulting things. They would see these women in person. They will sit in group. They will discuss these women very disrespectfully and stuff like that. While who they desire do not want them. So they project it on women they consider unattractive. That's the mind frame and the functionality of an incel. They're also misogynist. The podcast of Myron Hall and the other, I say the other, they're also very misogynistic. They have their podcast and they invite all these different groups of women on their show. And the women tend to have extremely high sex appeal. They have large breasts, whether through silicone enhancement. They have women who have done BBL. They have women with lip fillers and all these kind of things, extreme makeup, and they have them on the show, hyped up, extreme sexual energy, and they just go in and belittle them all the time. But I guess these women are being paid. So they come on the show and they subject themselves to humiliation. They subject themselves to disrespect because they are getting paid from it. And it helps to boost their listener, and their viewership on their platform. So that's the strategy that they use. Most of the time, or 90% of the time, the women who they invite on it are white or Caucasian women, or a very light skin or white looking Latino woman on the show. That's the audience of women that obviously they prefer, obviously they are sexually attracted to, but obviously are the type of women that they feel comfortable. Overall, they are going to be disrespectful because they're misogynistic, they're incels, they're just low in vibration, and they have a strong dislike for women. They're anti-women. So it matters not how attractive or how alluring that woman is. Their personality trait is not going to change. They just have a preference for who they want to disrespect and who they want to demean and belittle on their podcast. They have also made monkey noises when certain women are invited, in particular darker hue women. They have made monkey noises. They have said very demeaning things, disrespectful to women. A lot of they have invited darker skin women on the show, and they have been basically systemic bullying of these women on the show. They have done it to their preference also, but everyone can see that they cater to disrespecting darker hue women the most. They go in on them. And might I add that these two men are dark skinned. One is a lighter skinned man. He's Middle Eastern. He has this name of Idol Fit or something like that. He has a deep rooted Arabic name. And he chose to go by the name Myron Hall, which is, you would call that an ethnic name for a black man who, we all know colonizer English last name and stuff like that. So he chose to mimic the imagery, the content, the mind frame of a black man living in America and stuff like that. He also has a child, and he has a child with a black woman. I don't know what kind of love he gives to that child. I don't know what kind of self-esteem boost he gives to that child because the child is with a black woman. And so I find it extremely strange and bizarre that this man would be of a great father or great representative of a father to a black child, in particular, I think a black daughter, while he has preferences on his show who are not black, and he tends to go in and be very, very disrespectful to darker hue women in general, but mainly towards darker hue women. Like I said, they have a tendency to, go off making monkey noises. They have threatened women with physical attack, violence. They are crazy. And I don't know, they have a tendency to also be striking other people's account once you upload a video speaking on them and speaking out about their behavior and their character while on the podcast while on the podcast, and YouTube have finally decided that enough is enough. A long, long way, but they have finally made a decision. A lot of people are happy. A lot of people are proud of YouTube for coming out and making a conscious decision, a wholesome decision to just get rid of these bunch of too low life from off the air. They have nothing positive to contribute to any man out there. They have nothing positive to encourage any man out there Whatever it is that they're doing on their show is just gain at the expense of belittling women. It's just at the expense of belittling women. No, we are not saying that women are perfect. There are women out there who are low life also. There are women out there who are very disrespectful also. So we are not going to whitewash, or we are not going to paint a broad brush and make it seem as if women are very angelic. No, there are Jezebels out there. I spoke about it several times. Even when I'm going in on men, I've spoken about women behavior, a lot of women behavior. But that doesn't give you the right to be encouraging young men to be disrespectful and abusive towards women. It doesn't give you the right to belittle women and to degrade women simply because you have a bad experience, or you simply have a psychological problem, because it's clear that these two have serious psychological problem to have that outlook on women. There are several of them who came around and people constantly supported them. You know, the Andrew Tate, we know the Kevin Samuels, and he was on it for black women. Yes, he had said one and two things, those are anomalies. You call them anomalies or one off. He has made one and two suggestions that were encouraging to black women and also giving black men a straight face, like, the harsh truth. So those are anomaly situation. But on a grand scheme and on a large scale, he was extremely disrespectful to black women also. He was one of them who was telling black women that you are 40 years old, you have two kids, and you're waiting on a husband, and you decide to remain celibate. You better hand over your vagina. You better hand, and I'm using mad words, because those aren't the words that he used. You better hand him over. You better give it to a man and stuff like that. And I was very appalled by the fact that not only are you putting an age limit on a woman to think that she's desirable up until a certain age, which means that you're ageist, you are also trying to encourage a woman. You are encouraging a woman to be loose, to not be wholesome, to deny herself her own decency simply because she wants a man, and you believe that there's a limit to her. Vanessa Williams remarried in her 50s. What's the issue? There are so many women out there who are marrying at an older age. Every girl will not get married at the age 18 because every guy is not interested in marrying a girl. That's another thing. There isn't every guy out there who is straight also, or heterosexual. They're also not every guy is attracted to every girl or every type of girl. And we have to appreciate, we have to accept the harsh reality. So what do you expect young females to do? Stay celibate until they're 45 years old and not having up, while the guys are running wild out there and living in whoredom, until he decide that, okay, I see a girl out there and she's a virgin at the age of 45, let me decide to marry her. No woman wants that. No woman is going to sit around. So whatever it is that he was encouraging her to do, yes, it was a very good question. Why didn't the other two men who she had a child or had children with marry her? But it's not her fault if the guy didn't propose, because women don't go around proposing to men. So if that guy impregnates her and can stand 18 to 21 years as long as that child is in school to be responsible, why didn't he marry her? And then another one came and do the same thing. Or let's say all things are equal and it's for the same man. Why didn't these guys marry these women? You don't consider them wives, but you consider them women to breed, women to get to impregnate, women to, you're responsible for their children and stuff like that. It's crazy. It's crazy, and you want to blame that on the woman. Women don't go around proposing to men. That's a man's job. So if he chooses not to marry, yes, you can choose not to get pregnant. That is true. That I will blame a woman for, because it's your body. You're the one that's carrying the unborn. So a lot of these misogynists, these sexists, they go around and they preach controversial argument, controversial tones in the society, and help create a more bigger discombobulation that is already there. That is already there. And their information and the way how they encourage people in the society, and the way how they speak to other men in the society is very mercurial. So I don't understand why people do support them. because their argument is ever changing. They have no basis for their argument. It doesn't stay one place. It's misogyny and confusion at the same time. So I am glad. I commend YouTube for standing up for what is right. Way more of them out there that needs to just be hacked off the Google account. And I spoke on it, and one step at a time. One step at a time. Once it's high times on you people. Harvest, you're reaping all over. This is way in the US. This is way in the US. High times. They are reaping. It's time to reap your harvest for the seed that you have sown. Negative seeds, you're going to get negative crop. That's what's going to happen. There's no two way about it. You can't sow negative seed and decide that you want to be positive in 5 minutes time, 5 minutes to your harvest. No, that's not how it works. And I commend YouTube to get rid of them. They are low life. They are degenerates. Contribute absolutely nothing positive to the black community. You understand me? They're not even for black love. And let's say you're not for black love. What exactly are you for? You're not for black education. You're not for black intelligence. You're not for black upliftment. You're not for black entrepreneurship. What are you about? Do you just sit on a podcast every day and encourage men? These are the women that you should get with and treat them like prostitutes. So get rid of what get with white women, get with high tone Latino women who inject silicone in their body and all these kind of things. And treat them like trash, treat them like prostitutes, treat them like whores. That's what you do, because you're a man. That's what you should do. And they shouldn't talk back. They deserve whatever it is that they get. Because you have the penis and the penis is premium. If you're walking around with that kind of mentality, you're in for a very, very rude, a very frightening awakening. Because that's not how this world works. That's not how it functions. That's not how it operates. We are seeing the Me Too campaign is still alive. And a lot of them are paying a price for the seeds that they have sown. And men who think like this and behave like this usually have a sexual assault history. They usually have a rape history. They usually have a history behind them of harming women one way or the other. Abuse, physical violence. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm just so glad that YouTube is, taking them to work, taking them to task, and taking and getting rid of their account. You understand me? Thanks very much to YouTube. Thanks very much to YouTube. And I hope no young man out there who's of integrity was raised in a great family setting, and also young men out there who weren't raised in a great, because they're the most impressionable. They will forever be at an impressionable age. I hope they don't take whatever it is that they said and believe that's a reality and that's the truth, because you are going to get yourself in very serious trouble if you walk around with their kind of mentality and their belief and the foolery that they have imposed or encourage or implore or were alluding to on social media. That's all I have to say. Thank you so much. God bless you.